Well, that is right, my friends. You are listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. And yes, I am your host, Todd Huff, America's reality czar. It is good to be here. Thank you for joining us. Email is todd@toddhuffshow.com. You can ask me anything that you want. Pausing here. How about we keep it to thoughts, questions about issues? You can ask me anything. You can even share your praise, adoration. I'm kidding. todd@toddhuffshow.com. We're streaming. I know there's been problems with the video feed on social media, and we're trying to figure out what's going on with that. So bear with me as I've reached out to the providers and so forth. Anyway, we know that that's going on, and hopefully have that figured out here in the not too distant future. But there's a lot of tech going on here. Anyway, good to be here. Yesterday, as you know by now, last evening, the verdict came in regarding the trial of Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer who is now charged or convicted of murder, second-degree murder, which in the state of Minnesota even includes unintentional murder. He is now a convicted murderer, found guilty by a jury of his peers in the case of George Floyd's death in May of last year. But I want to talk about the trial. I want to talk about just some initial observations. And yes, last night's newsletter, I wrote about this too. So for those of you that subscribe to the newsletter, you've already seen some of what I'm going to discuss here this morning. It went out a little later than usual because, well, I wanted to write about the verdict, and it just took a little bit longer. Well, the verdict didn't come in until after 5 or something. So anyway, you can subscribe to that newsletter, totally free, toddhuffshow.com/subscribe, and you'll be on that email newsletter list. But I want to get into that in due course. I want to start with what happened yesterday. when Joe Biden was talking about the trial and the verdict before the verdict was given. Now, this is, first of all, President of the United States. There's nothing wrong with saying, I pray for justice. In fact, that's what I've wanted from this the whole time. From the very beginning. When I first saw the video last summer, I prayed for and I desired to see justice for George Floyd, justice for Officer Derek Chauvin, justice for the respective families, justice, right? Justice. It's the jury's job to decide if Chauvin was guilty. They found him guilty. No one knows more. I don't care. I guess in the era of having trials on television, which is not a bad thing, I don't think. It does. Look, there's a lot of things to weigh here, including pressure on the jury, including idiotic remarks from politicians like Maxine Waters, which we talked about yesterday. And of course, that changes a little bit the calculation, but allowing people to see the trial if they wanted to watch it. Of course, I don't know who could have watched the whole thing, who can just give up their day to sit there and watch the entire trial. But someone could have done that in theory, and they could have seen the evidence and in some respects known virtually what the jury knew. Just like if you attended a case in person, you hear what the jury was told, but it's still different for those of you that have served on a jury to have that responsibility. It's not the responsibility of those sitting at home listening to the pundits talk during before and after the trial begins each day or during recess and so forth. It's up to the jury. It's up to those 12 men and women to make a decision as to the fate of any defendant. And it's okay to pray for justice. But Biden yesterday says, as president of the United States, he says he prayed for, or was praying for, the verdict, the right verdict. Now, that's dangerous territory when you talk about a trial, because, now he said this when the jury was sequestered, but you don't want any sort of outside influence on the jury. This is something fundamentally true to our nation and our system of justice. We have a beautiful system of justice. And by the way, it's a good thing that we are trying cases in a court of law instead of the court of public opinion. Did you see, by the way, Chelsea Handler, good old Chelsea Handler, radical leftist actress, I think. Anyway, she says here, Chelsea, so this was from a couple weeks ago. Chelsea Handler, regarding the Derek Chauvin trial, said skip trials when there's audio and video footage. Just skip them. So you literally have celebrities, maybe she's a C-lister, I don't know, but celebrities out there who say, skip the trial. Skip it. We got it on video. What's the point? And it shows such a fundamental misunderstanding of justice. Folks, we have a beautiful system in this nation. We do. We have a beautiful system. When I served on the jury, and I don't want to make it too much about that, but it just pulls back so many memories for me, and things that are difficult. But also being a part of that, I was able to see firsthand just the beauty of our system. It really is a beautiful thing. You have a defendant in Derek Chauvin who was able to face his accusers in a public trial. You have a trial that was overseen by an impartial judge. You have 12 men and women sitting in the jury box, a jury of his peers, of the defendant's peers, that listened to testimony. They examined evidence. They listened to arguments. They deliberated amongst themselves until every one of them decided that Derek Chauvin was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That in and of itself, beyond a reasonable doubt, isn't a magnificent thing. We have something in this nation called the presumption of innocence. Now, you can raise the question as to whether or not Derek Chauvin was given or granted the presumption of innocence. And look, I'm not saying that you can't form your own opinion as an American watching things unfold in the media, but what I am saying is that is not the system that we all want to be held accountable to. Just remember what we learned last week or the week before when James O'Keefe released his expose CNN expose. It's just an expose exposing CNN for all of the lies and deceit and intentional misrepresentation, propaganda, things that were done for a desired result, not just to share information. How many things would the media have left out? How many things did the media leave out? How many things were actually testified in that trial that we still don't even know if we didn't watch the whole trial because the media didn't pay any attention to it? The media wanted to, sweep it under the rug or not make it as big of a deal or whatever the case may be, which again, at some level is the prerogative of the news because they have to edit. But the problem is we're not just editing for the sake of time constraints. We're editing for the sake of what they're editing, for the sake of what we know, what they want to tell us. So it's a beautiful thing that we have it. There's a process where, you have discovery. The prosecution has to make available the evidence that they have acquired or accumulated against the defendant so that the legal defense, the defendant's legal team, can respond to the charges. They just don't wake up and see it as it's being presented to the jury. There's a process by which things have to be entered into evidence. The defense can object to certain things, sometimes withholding evidence from going before the jury. The judge will say that that's something that we cannot allow. Maybe it was, maybe that evidence was acquired unlawfully. Maybe it will prejudice the jury. It's the judge's prerogative. None of that happens. None of that happens in the media when we have this system that's now trying people by media. But this beyond a reasonable doubt is a beautiful thing. Beyond a reasonable doubt means that it's the job of the state, it is the job of the government to provide evidence that is so overwhelming that there's no reasonable doubt that the person accused of the crime committed the crime. That's the goal. It's not because, hey, we have a video, no matter how damning that video may be. Chelsea Handler, with her comments there about not even having a trial. This is, you talk about what I want to say. You talk about the absence of justice. That would be not having a trial for Derek Chauvin, or for anyone for that matter. Anyone for that matter. This is part of justice. You have not only the standard of beyond a reasonable doubt, which effectively means once the evidence is heard by the jury, there is no other way that someone can reasonably piece together the evidence and say something happened other than what the prosecution has charged the defendant with doing. That's effectively what it means. And it's hard for some people to get their minds there, but it's, the level of certainty. It's not just 51%. It's not just, I lean more likely than not that he committed the crime. No. It is, I have no other way that I can even effectively say, I can't even explain the evidence in any other way, essentially, besides this individual committed the crime. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. Defense can respond to that. He was represented. Officer Chauvin was represented by a defense team who they were tasked with protecting his interests, his rights throughout this proceeding. They were allowed to question witnesses. They were allowed to try to poke holes in the prosecution's case to make people, focus on the impact of other things, like in this case, the drugs in his system, the fact that he was resisting arrest, whatever it was. They were able to bring these things to light to, again, try to keep the prosecution from reaching the standard of eclipsing a reasonable doubt. They didn't have to prove anything, the attorneys for the defense didn't. They simply had to keep enough evidence from accumulating to eclipse that reasonable doubt. Their client didn't have to testify. None of them, the team or the client, didn't have to directly answer any of the accusations made. He could plead the fifth and not take the stand. All these things versus what we see in the media, which is stirring up nothing in many cases besides emotion. Same thing happens when Nancy Pelosi takes the microphone or Maxine Waters goes to a protest. None of these things are considered for the defendant. And this is critically important in a criminal justice system. Presumption of innocence. Although, again, I'm not speaking for the jury. Definitely in the court of public opinion, this was never afforded to Derek Chauvin. Now, that does not mean that he's not guilty or any of that. I just remember when I was on the jury for the trial I was on, the defense attorney even said, you're gonna hear something, things from the very beginning about the defendant that's gonna make you realize he's a terrible, terrible person, effectively is what the attorney said. And he admitted that the defendant was maybe a terrible person. That wasn't what the juror was on trial for. The defendant was on trial for. The defendant was on trial for a specific charge. And our job was to say, did the state meet the burden of proof in making those allegations? And then he tried to explain how that wasn't possible. And this is what defense attorneys do. And it's a beautiful system, folks. It really is. It's not a vigilante system. It's not a system that says, popular opinion makes any difference whatsoever. It doesn't matter that the president of the United States is out there praying for the right verdict. Instead, he should pray for justice. The president's not in control of this. The president isn't the one that, they didn't make the right verdict because the president agrees with it. They made the right verdict because the evidence in their minds eclipsed reasonable doubt. And you won't find me questioning a jury. I might have questions about some of the things related to the charges. You may have questions whether or not this really constituted murder. Maybe those are fair questions from the outside. But I do, unless there's reason to think otherwise, I say that is the job of the jury. Justice was served in the sense, in this case, because the jury was able to go through the process. The system was followed, and now we have a verdict delivered by that jury. Yes, there were lots of problems, especially when you look outside of what politicians were doing and so forth, and we'll get to some of that. But the system that we have is a beautiful thing. It really is. And I don't envy the position that those jurors were put in. I do not. A lot of pressure. I hope none of that entered their minds, either direction. I hope it did. I'm not saying that it did. I'm just simply saying, that their job was to do what they did and to interpret the evidence and make a decision. And they did so following the rule of law. And yes, we had idiots out there like Maxine Waters doing her thing. And yes, there's probably going to be challenges to this verdict because of that. But nonetheless, we have a beautiful system and we should be thankful. So after the break, I want to play Joe Biden's, again, what I think are irresponsible comments before the verdict was delivered. I want to play comments Nancy Pelosi made. You talk about heartless, unbelievable comments about George Floyd. I don't even know what you make. Whose mind goes to where Nancy Pelosi's mind did as she spoke after the verdict was delivered yesterday. And we've got lots of other things to get to as well. But this idea that Chelsea Handler says there shouldn't even be a trial for Derek Chauvin because there's video evidence. There's a lot of people who think that way, folks. But our system of justice is a beautiful thing. It was carefully crafted by our founders based upon what they saw governments do, what they experienced themselves at the hands, in some instances, of an overpowering dictatorial tyrant like King George. Anyway, long in this first segment. Got to take a time out. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am America's Reality Czar. Back here in just a minute.
Stay on top of the nonsense our colleges are subjecting students to today by listening to Todd's monthly interview series with Matt Lamb, assistant editor of The College Fix. Listen at toddhuffshow.com/college. Brought to you by Apprentice University. With so many societal changes, everyone's talking about apprenticeships and college debt. Businesses seek employees with practical problem-solving skills. Visit apprentice.university to learn about our demanding academics and paid apprenticeships in excess of tuition. No debt, in-demand skills, Christian community.
Hey Indy, Sid here with Kill a Dent Removal. We specialize in a paint-free repair process known as PDR. Our certified master technicians remove dents and dings of all shapes and sizes, including hail damage, with zero body fillers, zero painting, and zero diminished value. Most repairs are completed the same day, many even while you wait. Check us out at killadentremoval.com. And remember, folks, don't paint your car, go PDR.
Hunting, fishing, bows, guns, ammo, safes, and more. The Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has all the gear you need for your outdoor experience. We have a huge selection of brands that other shops don't carry, and a friendly, knowledgeable staff ready to answer all your outdoor adventure questions. At Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood, you can even hone your archery skills at our indoor shooting range. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. So get outdoors, but bring the right gear.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Unhappy with your CPAP machine? Now you have an alternative. The docs at Indy Dental Sleep have an oral appliance that treats snoring and sleep apnea. They begin with an in-home sleep test that is diagnosed by a sleep physician before prescribing your appliance. And it's covered by most medical insurance plans. It's preferred 20-1 versus CPAP. Call 317-888-4036 and start getting the sleep you need. Or visit indydentalsleep.com. Fireplaces can be beautiful and even essential in heating some homes. But did you know they could be dangerous to your family if not properly maintained? Chimneys need to be cleaned and inspected annually. My family and I had Smalling Masonry inspect ours. They are friendly, informative, on time, and helped us use our wood-burning stove more efficiently. Call Christian-owned Smalling Masonry today at 317-903-8121 and mention my name, Todd Huff, for a 15% off chimney inspection and sweep. Flooded basement? Failed sump pump? Water damage happens fast this time of year. For 38 years now, Hayes & Sons has been restoring water damage in Indiana homes and businesses. They'll help you navigate your insurance claim and get your life back on track. So when a water disaster strikes, tell your insurance agent you want Hayes & Sons for your restoration work. Visit hayesandsons.com/Todd for more information. Welcome back. So despite the beautiful system that we have here in this nation, it seemed as though the Democrats, the leaders anyway of the party, were doing their darndest to undermine it. Biden yesterday at the White House talking about the George Floyd, the Derek Chauvin trial regarding the charges being made, of course, for murder of George Floyd. But I want you to listen to this. It's about a minute. Biden pontificating. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if he doesn't really know what he's saying, if he's just, the teleprompter's not on here. I don't really know. But this is not something a president of the United States should do. Now, there's a lot more going on here than I care to admit. This is not just, I don't like saying this, but of course there's the politics of this. Is now how the Democrats, the radical left, want to use this to implement policy and so forth, which is just really, it makes me uncomfortable to say, but that is my assessment of how they think about of what they're doing here. And it's disgusting to me, but that's, again, they're not afraid to do it. In the words of, I'm just reminded of what Rahm Emanuel says, right? It's what they're not afraid to to use any circumstance for their political benefit. And it's sickening, I think, to people with, I don't know, with conscience, with just anyone who wants to look at things through the lens of what is good and just and that sort of thing. So here's Biden talking about the Chauvin trial yesterday, where he says, "I'm praying the verdict is the right verdict." Just let that sink in here. Biden wasn't in the jury. Biden, as president of the United States, I know some people think this. Well, when a Democrat's president, they think presidents know everything. They're masters of all things. They can make recommendations and sign laws about all things because they know things. They're better than me. They're smarter than me. All this sort of thing. It's not true. It's not true at all. But this is the way that some people look at presidents or scientists like Fauci, which I didn't even get into the Fauci versus Jim Jordan thing. I would like to do that at some point. That was quite an interesting exchange. Fauci having no idea, or at least recognizing from his distorted viewpoint, that American liberties have not been under assault for the past year plus because of our response to COVID. He acted like that wasn't even a thing. Anyway, put that on the back shelf for another time. This is Biden talking about the verdict. Again, before the verdict was given, but in fairness, during deliberations when the jury was sequestered. So they theoretically didn't see these comments, but here you go.
Spent time with his little daughter, Gianna. You should see this beautiful child. And his brother, both brothers, as a matter of fact. I can only imagine the pressure and anxiety they're feeling. And so I waited till the jury was sequestered, and I called. And as I wasn't going to say anything about it, but Lonius said today on television, and he accurately said it was a private conversation because Joe understands what it's like to go through loss. And they're a good family, and they're calling for peace and tranquility, no matter what that verdict is. I'm praying the verdict is the right verdict, which is, I think it's overwhelming in my view. I wouldn't say that unless the jury was sequestered now, not hear me say that. But so we just talked to them. I want to know how they were doing, just personally, and we talked about personal things. Thank you very much for coming in.
So there you go. Praying for the right verdict. He's seen the evidence, and it's overwhelming. The right verdict was, of course, to convict in Joe Biden's mind. Look, and that's the jury. That's my point. That's the jury's decision, right? You can't say to the jury, and in defense, it wasn't directly to the jury, but because they were sequestered again during deliberations. But this concept that Biden knows. Biden somehow knows because he's a leftist, because he's watch CNN? Is that why? Why? How does he know? Why does he know? Why did we even go through the process, to Chelsea Handler's point, if everybody knows whether someone is guilty or not by watching a video alone that's possibly been edited, or who knows at that point? I'm not suggesting the video was, but when it goes to the media, I'm saying all bets are off as to what they do. Again, I'm reminded of what they did to George Zimmerman. Remember when NBC, I think it was NBC, edited the 911 calls? They did that. Remember Dan Rather's story on George W. Bush and the National Guard? Remember, you might remember this one. Years of being misled by so-called Russian collusion. How Trump jumped on a plane and colluded with Putin to steal the election from Hillary by using Facebook and Pokemon Go ads in 2016. Remember this? That's just some of those are the ones that we know about. This expose that Project Veritas has done. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's why our system of justice is a beautiful thing. And it's just another reason why we, can't believe what we're told. But the president doesn't know what the, quote, right verdict is. Justice should be what we sought. Again, justice for George Floyd and his family. Justice for Officer Chauvin. Because, folks, it is not just, and I'm not making the claim here, please I'm not commenting on, I'm commenting in broad terms here about how justice is achieved. It is not just to hold someone accountable for symbolic crimes. If Black Lives Matter said, hey, this case matters because of all these other things that no, that's not what this is about. This is a specific charge against a specific individual who had a specific victim that was under his custody or in his custody. That is what this was about. And I know it may matter in the conversation moving forward with police reform. I'm not saying any of these things don't matter, but in the court case itself, it doesn't. What matters is what the evidence what can be proven. What a jury will find eclipses the threshold of reasonable doubt. And I'm long in this segment as well. Quick timeout is necessary. You're listening to Conservative Not Better Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Ward's Apparel, Edwards Equipment, and Indiana Wooded Paradise Retreat by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
I want to get one more season out of my furnace or air conditioner. Have you or someone you know ever made that statement? Economy heating, air conditioning, and plumbing has heard it a lot. Did you know that furnaces and air conditioners are most likely to break down when they're under stress? That means during the hottest and coldest months of the year, like those months quickly approaching us. With winter on the horizon, now is the time to replace that old rickety unit. With 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $600 in instant rebates, now is the time to buy. Doing great work is Economy's priority, and the satisfaction of their customers is their number one goal, guaranteed. Make your home comfortable this winter. Contact Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing today by calling 317-831-5279 or visit them at economyheatingandair.com.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
There's a lot going on in the world today, and with so much going on, it's sometimes hard to maintain balance. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." I'm Pastor Jeff Floyd of the Martinsville First Church of the Nazarene. To experience how life can be better with Jesus, come worship at M1 Church at 10 a.m. this Sunday, 1609 John R. Wooden Drive in Martinsville, or catch our live stream service on Facebook at M1 Church. For more information, visit m1nazarene.org. Have a great day today in Jesus.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today. Providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price, our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create, on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
Corin Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corin Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Welcome back. By the way, this program is brought to you in part by our friends at Carriage House Woodworking. Carriage House Woodworking, located conveniently, 2 locations, Martinsville and Plainfield. Folks, they do countertops, cabinets. They're family-owned. They'll walk you through every step of the process. Just in there the other day, actually. Carriage House Woodworking, 317-406-3042, 317-406-3042, or visit them online at chweinc.com, chweinc.com. Carriage House Woodworking, be sure to tell them that we sent you. So I want to go, so yesterday we had Biden's irresponsible, inappropriate comments. We also had Jen Psaki, circle back girl, up there at a press briefing doing what she does, which is not a look. People criticize Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Kayleigh McEnany and so forth, but what we're witnessing here, in my estimation, is infinitely. I thought those ladies did a good job. But this is pathetic. And in fairness, she's not given much of a chance. She's not given much of a chance to do a good job because she's trying to defend silliness up there. But she's asked about these comments that Joseph R. Biden made yesterday about praying for the right verdict, whatever Biden thinks is right. And that summarizes liberalism, by the way. They want to tell you what's right with whatever's in your world. The verdict was in the world of the jurors. That's, again, we don't do themes on this program, but that's what we've talked about today. This is the American justice system. And you can have questions, as I have some questions. I find myself wondering, could I have gotten to the point of convicting of murder? I don't know. I mean, I'd have to read the statute. I'd have to go through the process where they read the charges and sort of explain to some extent, not really. They read the charges, they define the terms, and then let you make your decision. But I wonder, but there's an unintentionals in the statute in Minnesota, so maybe that would have changed. I don't know. That's kind of the point. Biden doesn't know either. But Jen Psaki's asked about this. And I just want you to listen to this exchange. The nonsense that we're subjected to every day by this administration and his spokesperson is quite remarkable. Take a listen to this.
Go ahead, Kristen. Thank you, Jen. Just to follow up, the president has talked about the importance of an independent judiciary. Why is it appropriate for him to weigh in on the verdict, even though the jury is seated?
I don't think he would see it as weighing in on the verdict. He was conveying what many people are feeling across the country, which is compassion for the family. What a difficult time this is. What a difficult time this is for many Americans across the country who have been watching this trial very closely.
That's not what he said, Jen.
The jury is sequestered. That is different from where things stood just yesterday, and he noted that in his comments as well.
He did call for the right verdict, though.
He sure did.
Why is it ever appropriate to have any type of characterization before the jury has
Thank
a say?
you. It isn't.
Again, we're going to wait for the jury to come to their conclusion, and that is when he will have more extensive remarks about the outcome.
What is this? This is liberalism 101. What is that answer? How's that even answering? It's not answering the question. Why is it ever appropriate to comment on a jury's decision prior to the jury's decision? We'll have more information about that once the jury. That's not what the question was. This is the kind of stuff. You may not have liked all the questions, the answers that Kayleigh McEnany provided, but that's not. You didn't get that. You didn't get that at all. Anyway, I want to take a break here. And when we come back, I want to play something else. Nancy Pelosi's comments last night after the verdict. What she said. Again, I'm just thinking if Trump said any of these things, if Trump was president and he commented on the jury and what the jury should do, we would have heard how in danger we were of losing our democracy. That's what we would have heard. That would have been the lead at CNN. Brian Stelter, Jim Acosta, whoever else over there, Wolf Blitzer, tough guy Chris Cuomo, Don Lemon, they all would have been up in arms about this. But because it's Biden, it's just, hey, he's just commenting. He's just caring about the family. Okay. I care about I care about the laws. I care about justice being served. But the jury is going to determine what justice is. What in the world does a president of the United States have anything to do about any trial going on in this country? What say should he have on anything? Right? What does it matter? Because there's more that they want to do with this, and that's the sickening, in my opinion, side of this. Timeout is in order. Come back and play Nancy Pelosi's comments on the other side of the break. Sit tight. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, Care to Change, and Interior Construction Services by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
There is plenty to worry about these days. If you're working with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual, your retirement and financial security doesn't need to be one of them. Blake is a time-tested financial advisor with over 20 years of experience at Northwestern Mutual. For an independent review of your financial planning needs, call Blake and mention the Todd Huff Show for a free initial consultation. Call 317-215-8322 or visit blakehornsby.com. Invest in your peace of mind with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual.
Family owned since 1973, Edwards Equipment at 1375 East Main Street in Danville is ready to meet your equipment needs by selling, renting, and servicing several makes and models of lightweight residential or heavy-duty commercial equipment. We carry and service top-name brands like Ferris, Kubota, Steel, Gravely, Honda Power, Land Pride, and more. Visit edwardstractor.com or call 317-745-6427 to check out our clearance specials today. At Edwards Equipment, we don't just sell you any piece of equipment, we sell you the right piece of equipment.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Weddings, reunions, business, church, or family retreats. Indiana Paradise Retreat is a hidden gem located right here in central Indiana. With over 11,000 square feet, a theater, gym, sauna, hot tub, pool, stocked lakes, and even an on-site event hangar, we have just the place for your next event. Find us on Airbnb, VRBO, or just search for Indiana Paradise Retreat. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Welcome back. So, yesterday, after the verdict was announced, Nancy Pelosi and other politicians as well, it wasn't just Nancy Pelosi, spoke before a crowd in, I guess they're in Minneapolis yesterday. And I can't, look, and I understand Nancy Pelosi, she is, even though she's a street fighter, she told us, and was ready to clear the Capitol room by room in hand fighting on the day of January 6th. She's an 82-year-old grandma. 82-year-old grandma Nancy Pelosi. So, look, I know that she, as is unfortunately the case with many other Democrats today, including the president, they don't always seem to know what they're saying, but this is about as bad, in my opinion, as this gets. Listen, this is so heartless and so, I don't even know how to describe this. Listen to what she says to the crowd about George Floyd. In fact, people were tweeting about this last night. A gentleman by the name of Philip Lewis tweeted this video and wrote the following caption: Nancy Pelosi thanks George Floyd for being murdered. And that's unfortunately pretty close to what she says here. Listen to this.
So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe. But because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous.
What on earth is that? Thank you for giving your life for justice? This is such a distorted viewpoint. This is so corrupt and despicable and pathetic. Giving your life for justice. That is such a backwards way of looking at it. It's because she's looking at this through the political lens. There is no humanity here, folks. Thank you for giving your life for justice. Speaker Pelosi, justice was achieved when the jury made a decision on the charges made against Officer Chauvin in the death of George Floyd, when they weighed the evidence and decided what justice demanded. That was justice. What do you even mean, George Floyd? Thank you for giving your life for justice. This is what I mean. They are expanding this to include all of these other cases where people point at and say, this is an example of the police targeting a victim of color who didn't have a weapon and so forth. No, George Floyd died, and justice was done through the jury, right? This is just a despicable way of describing things, of looking at things, and I've got to take a break. Time out. Back here in just a minute.
Enrollment in Todd's conservative, not bitter university is now open. For a limited time, save $10 on Todd's first course, A Christian's Guide to Being a Patriot. For more information or to enroll, visit conservativenotbitter.com. Sponsored in part by Workforce Chaplains. Could your business or organization benefit from the services of a professional team of chaplains? Meet the needs of your employees and foster an excellent work environment with Workforce Chaplains. For more information, visit workforcechaplains.com today.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Are you looking for reliable advice on real estate investing? Then you should start listening to the Homeboys. Clint and Scott have over 40 years of real estate investing experience that they use to educate and guide their listeners. Listen and learn from their experiences to maximize your real estate investment strategy. You can find the Homeboys podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or watch them on YouTube. That's the Homeboys podcast. They can show you how to get started and reach your real estate investment goals.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Quality glass windows and doors add value to your home or commercial space. At White's Innovative Glass, our family-owned and operated company will work with you to ensure we understand your vision before we begin. And if you don't have a vision, we can help with that too. We proudly stand behind our work and look forward to your call. Right now, we're offering 15% off your next project. Visit our website at whitesinnovativeglass.com/Todd.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC. Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? There is a cure. With the Pro-Life Health Plan, your savings could be as much as 60%. The Pro-Life Health Plan allows you to enjoy the freedom of choosing any doctor, any hospital, anywhere. And their enrollment is open year-round. Just give Eric a call at 888-448-5370 or visit them online at isellhealth.com. Better coverage at a better cost.
Our sense of smell stimulates memory and emotion. A scent can seemingly transport us to another place in time. Homemade, hand-poured candles and melts from spur-of-the-moment creations will give your nose the experience the rest of your body is missing during any season of the year. Crackling firewood, fresh-cut grass, Macintosh apple, and even racing fuel are some of their over 200 engaging fragrances. Visit spurofthemomentcreations.com and enter coupon code TODD at checkout to receive 15% off your order today.
There's some other things at time. Just I had some other concerns that did come from this whole process of the Chauvin trial, the way that this was talked about in the media. Some other, I think, consequences. I'm not speaking about the jury or their decision as much as I am talking about just in general what I've seen or what I'm concerned with, I guess, societally here. I wrote about that in the newsletter. And if you sign up for the newsletter, I'll make sure that you get that today. It went out yesterday, toddfshow.com/subscribe. If you sign up today, I'll send that out to you as well. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. SDG. Take care.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in Central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.